I've been thinking a lot of how I would review this anime. I kept coming back to it on and off and found no easy answer. Soon after, months and months went by and I almost got to the point where I wanted to skip out on reviewing this anime entirely. But, getting straight to the point, I love Angel Beats. I love it so much as it was so flawed. It had the potential for greatness, for being incredibly memorable and being one of the best of its year. Instead of being so great as I once thought when I first watched this, it was really just okay. When I talk to my friends and other reviewers about this, they agree. They love it, but they also really notice its flaws. So today, I review Angel Beats for my third day for my 12 days of anime. Let's get started. Angel Beats follows the story of one Otonashi, an amnesiac that suddenly pops up into what can only be called purgatory. He quickly meets two residents of this strange world, Yuri and Angel, whom are locked into a never-ending battle of sorts. Yuri leads a group of humans, like Otonashi, in rebellion against the system, while Angel seems to be an agent of the system keeping them in line. Eventually, Otonashi ends up with Yuri's group, the SSS, and the adventure really kicks off. Angel Beats is not an ordinary anime. In fact, if you dive deeper into its context and symbolism and otherwise, you will find that there is plenty to see here that meets the eye. It's your typical drama anime with mix of comedy and dash of romance and action, but the twist is that everyone is dead and the entire scenario deals with the afterlife. Yes, the afterlife, a scenario not anyone can really make a full version of. But surprisingly, the afterlife here is nothing to be expected of. Typical high school life. But of course it gets better from here because if you abide from the laws of this place, your soul will eventually find eternal rest. Well, here is the deal. Not everyone is pleased with that system, and a free-spirited girl is out to change the rules and try to fight it with all her might, since she wants to rebel for all the cruel fate that God gave them when they were still alive. Hiring the spirits of random young people with special characters and skills, well, most of them, they altogether build the SSS, or the Afterlife Brigade. So I will say that the cast is quite memorable, but I also have to say that the characterization as a whole for all the characters in the series is by far its weakest point, because you have such a large cast and only a few characters really get proper development. The characters really do stand out as a whole, but individual characters really didn't get much attention at all. I just wish that, like in other key series, the other characters had time to shine or even had at least one episode of focus. But because it's only 13 episodes, the backstories of other characters are either rushed or a bit lacking. The characters of Otonashi and Angel is well done, but Yuri, on the other hand, felt a little bit rushed, specifically in the last episode when she was acting like she's been friends with Angel for years. But despite that, I still like Yuri's character as a whole, and I think she was by far probably the best character of them all. But of course, I still have a favorite of Angel. Either way, I did find each member of the Afterlife Brigade to be quirky and interesting, with some exceptions due to them being essentially filler characters with enough charm and story to make you at least care for them, despite all their shortcomings. And by shortcomings, I mean the first of those flaws that became apparent halfway through the series. Jun Maeda imagined a huge scope, like his previous anime works. Apparently there was no way for the series could have gotten any longer than one season. 13 episodes were just not enough to let all the characters shine on their own, and instead we're just left with interesting personalities and roles and not interesting characters. In my opinion, plot intervened with many of the characters' backgrounds. Who are they, and why did they end up in the Afterlife School? The show's pacing is perfectly broken down by the episode's limit, and instead, we honestly just get a show that focuses too much on a couple of guys with fast-paced storytelling and not enough of what makes this kind of work shine on its own: gradual character development. You know, there's not much I really want to say as far as with this category, but simply put, Angel Beats looks superb, and it's pretty clear it had an impressive budget behind it. While some of the character designs are clearly more creative than others, most of the main cast are very memorable in both their character designs and even their personalities. The animation was extremely polished overall, including the internal blemishes. The colors and shading captured the emotion for each scene accurately, which is important as the heartfelt moments are often what drives the anime forward. Action scenes contain very fluid animation that are adrenaline-filled and are just as hyperactive as the rest of the show. Angel Beats is outstanding, and I don't think I'm breaking any new ground by saying that for the animation and art. The production companies PA Works and Keys worked really hard on animating this show, and it is illustrated perfectly within this anime. The character designs look great, and from an enthusiastic viewpoint, the show looks beautiful with bright colors, outstanding contrast, and an enormous scope to go with. Oh wow, this is the part where this anime, in my opinion, really stood out. From the upbeat piano opening to the mellow ending songs, right down to the very unforgettable insert songs courtesy of the SSS band Girls Dead Monster. Everything is just flawless. The overall theme is about self-awareness, and every single song in the soundtrack reflects this, from the lyric down right to the beautiful composition. This series is known for having perhaps one of the greatest soundtracks in anime history, and I can't lie that music in this show is superb. Okay, maybe not the best in anime history, but definitely one of the most memorable ones. I really liked many of the songs in this show, including the amazing opening, and the songs from Girls Dead Monster, and of course the ending and closing songs. The voice acting, which is something to be noted of, generally I didn't mind the voice acting in the dub. I can't fully decide on whether I would pick the sub or the dub, but from the dub, since it was the last version I watched, I did think a lot of the characters had fitting voices, though some may be somewhat annoying to some people. I mean, it was okay. So either way, I think you can't go wrong with either or. Angel Beats is another 13-episode series that's really hard to pass up. It's a giant tearjerker, has fun cast of characters, and deals with many good themes such as regret. It seems a bit weird and out of place during the first few episodes, but it does manage to pick itself up significantly in the penultimate episodes until it reaches tearjerk levels that I haven't seen in really years. It isn't without flaws though. As a series, Angel Beats is honestly all over the place. It seems like most of the cast don't get a chance to share the development spotlight, and there's just too many of them here, not enough time to really give everyone a chance for major development or exploration. As such, it seems like a bunch of the series devoted itself to weird team building shenanigans to help them get to know more of the characters. It seems a little bit out of place though, particularly by the end of the series, which not really much of the best endings that I liked. Yet, this messy nature is preciously what I came to really love from Angel Beats. So, honestly, critically, yes, it's got flaws, but man, personally, I loved every bit of it. Anyways, this ends up my review of Angel Beats. Hope you guys did enjoy this, and I'll see you guys next time on day 4. Peace out, guys.